Hey guys, Mars Naked here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so today we are going to talk about link leveling. Now that the auto mode has released on global, a lot of people have been asking about which stage is the best to link level on, because things have changed quite significantly with the release of version Z and the auto mode. It's gonna hurt me to do it, but I'm gonna waste my 23 stamina to show you guys here how the game has changed, because 23-8 was of course the best link level stage, based solely around, you know, the fact that there are so many potential Cyberman fights that you can, with the right luck, get through and get probably the most amount of fights with the amount of stamina. Because obviously, remember, one of the things that factors in to link leveling is the stamina cost of the stage. And so obviously 23-8 does cost 23 stamina. So we're going to jump in with the team that I'm currently link leveling. Now, one thing I should say right at the start is that link leveling is always going to be RNG, right? So as we go through the stages in this, it's very possible that we might not get any link levels in some of the runs, and then others we might get a whole load. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that stage that we get them in the video is therefore the best one. But yeah, so now we have auto. This is why you don't do 23-8 anymore, because if we have a look at this, obviously the Cybermen are all very spread out. What I would obviously try and do here normally is, I guess what I would do is I would take the 3 to go to here, then I would take the 1 to get to this Cyberman on the right, then I would go up around on this far right side, hoping to hit this one, and then obviously carry on this way over the top to try and hit as many as possible. But the reason auto has changed the game completely is the fact that now, whenever you select auto map, the way it works is it will just repeatedly pick the largest number that you have available every time. And look at this. It's got a completely different way where there basically are no fights. And the largest number available to us each time has caused us to miss every single fight on the map, except for now this final one against Turles. So yeah, this is why 23-8 is not good to do anymore, because the name of the game is the number of fights you can get compared to the amount of stamina that it costs to do each stage. So 23-8 always used to be the best, because even if you got really shafted with the RNG for like your dice rolls, you could usually hit at least a few fights, right? Whereas, as you can see here, we did not hit any of them. Now, obviously, you could get insane RNG where the highest number available to you every time is going to land you on a Cyberman, but probably not going to happen. So yeah, and of course that's our new record because we missed like every single one of the fights. So 23-8 is kind of out now. Now, I think personally, when it comes to manual link leveling, like if you're still going to sit and just play manually, I do still think 23-8 is good. So like for me, I still use my boosts on 23-8 and just play the stage manually and then go back to autoing on the other stages. So the first one I wanted to show you guys is the one that Truth was talking about a lot when version Z first came out on JP, which is Area 8 Merciless Freezer, Stage 9 Raging Battle, so 8-9. And this is 14 stamina, so we'll go ahead and jump into this one. We will just take the recommended friend, because there's no... there's a lot less like multi-character fights. I think all of the stop sign fights in this are against one person. So if I just turn the map off very quickly, the difference with this stage, as you can see, whilst we do get random Freezer soldiers spawn on the map, we actually have the Ginyu Force as stop sign fights. So we've got 2, 3, and then 4 right at the end. So even if the RNG misses every single one of these Freezer soldiers, we can still get 4 fights. And then obviously, depending on how the RNG plays out, we could still hit the Freezer soldiers as well. But as you can see at the bottom, there is a Freezer soldier directly after Raccoon, and I do have a 1 at the bottom available on the dice, but there was also a 2 there. So even if the extra one we get to replace the one we just used was a 1, it's going to use the 2. So we're going to miss the fight that is directly after this. So this is where the challenge sort of came in and why people have been investigating all these different stages, because auto just goes for the biggest number every time. There's no sort of settings for like prioritizing getting into as many fights as possible. I think that would be kind of cool if in the future they sort of tweaked auto a little bit to give it these kind of features where you could set it to go for the most number of fights, or you could get it to go for like the most number of items, or you could just set it to go for beating the stage as quickly as possible, and then that would be the setting where it always picks like the highest number. So hey, we got a link for the LR Shadow Dragons. So at least on this one, you are able to get multiple stop sign fights. Are we going to get any RNG here? No, we got a 4, so we missed that one as well. So obviously, we're just going to continue going here, and at least we are going to get 4 fights. So at least every single time you play this through, you're going to get at least 4 fights, 14 stamina, compared to 23.8, which is 23 stamina, and then on auto you're only guaranteed to get 1 fight at the end. So definitely this one, in terms of auto, this one obviously just blows 23.8 out of the water completely. So this is the stage that Truth was doing all of his auto link leveling on. Since auto came out, he's like massively stepped up his grinding. I think I saw on his recent video, I think he said he got like, in the last like 2 weeks, he's gotten like another 40 units to link level 10. Now, obviously, not everybody is able to grind that much, even with the auto feature. Because obviously, one thing that we've discussed already in like a previous video that I would love to see as a future update to as version Z keeps updating is the ability to actually select to play the stage multiple times, right? Like if you have a full bar of stamina, it would be awesome if you could literally just select to play the stage like 20 times. Because then obviously for me, I would just select it to do it like 100 times. Because other gachas that I've played will have it so that you can set, you know, auto a certain number of times, and if you run out of stamina, it will then use a stamina refresh item. So obviously for me that was Grand Cross, which they just have stamina pots, whereas in this, obviously it would be meat items or then stones, so you definitely would have to be careful that you didn't accidentally turn it on without realizing and then rinse through like a whole bunch of stones. But for somebody like me who's happy to spend stones refreshing my stamina to link level, I wouldn't be opposed to doing that. So I could literally just set it to run like 100 times and then just go to sleep, which would be great. So that was the 8-9, which has 4 guaranteed fights. Now, one that's come up that I've tried a couple of times is Area 15, Distorted Destiny, Stage 2, Lost Warrior. So this is 15-2. And this is 16 stamina. So this costs 2 stamina more than the previous one. So in theory, this gives a slightly higher percentage chance each time you get a fight. Now, when we look at this map, there is, let's have a look as we go around. So ignoring the ones off to the side, there is a Cyberman here, here, and then Bardock. So there's 3 stop sign fights. Now that is less than 8-9. However, as you can see, on these branches off to the side, there are extra fights with stop signs. Now, if you're doing this manually, obviously that means you can go and hit each one of them, and obviously potentially hit the other Cybermen fights that are on the map as well. But the strange thing is that RNG, yeah, see, sometimes the auto will go down those secondary side paths, and then even if they miss the bonus ones, there is a stop sign fight, so you get to hit that and get an extra fight. Even if you had a whole dice roll full of 6s at the bottom, you're still going to be able to get those fights as well. But I don't know what determines whether it goes that way or not, whether it's like a percentage chance or whether it's just based on like the numbers that you had available. But I've run this stage a couple of times, and I can't really tell what determines the difference. Like sometimes it will go off on those side paths and get those fights, and sometimes it won't. So I don't really know exactly why it does that. And so the problem with that is that, now obviously this applies to auto for every stage, right? So the way link leveling works, if you don't know, when you load into a stage, the links that you could potentially get from completing that stage have already been predetermined, and they've already been like pre-allocated to certain fights. So for example, that first side path that we didn't go down, that stop sign fight could have had the last level 10 link that I need for this Android 8 and 17 unit on the end. But because the auto didn't go that way, we didn't get that fight, so we're not going to get their last link up to level 10. And then when we jump into the next attempt, we might not get the RNG of actually getting that level 10 link for that stage. So whilst this applies to every stage that you run on auto, because obviously it could give that level 10 link to one of the non-stop sign fights, and then the auto is potentially going to miss that like every single time. But what you have to take into account when you decide which stage you want to do your auto link leveling is which one is the one where you can hit the most fights guaranteed. So the fact that this map has a bunch of stop sign fights, but then the AI might not even go that way, is kind of annoying, because then obviously those fights could have links attached to them that you're then just not going to get. And like I said, I'm not entirely sure why it goes that way sometimes and not other times. So yeah, I don't know if that's something that anyone would even be able to find out, because I know a lot of people have been investigating this. I've seen a lot of posts on like Twitter and people posting stuff from the Reddit and stuff like that. A lot of people have been investigating these stages to see which ones are going to be the best for link leveling, and I haven't seen anyone offer an explanation as to why the AI will go down some of these paths sometimes and then not other times. So I'm really not too sure on that one, but I do think for me that makes this one a little bit less worthwhile, because there's that potential for missing out on so many fights that you would be able to get if you were playing it manually. Because that's the difference, right? Like on 23.8, if you're playing it manually but you get bad luck with your dice rolls and you're constantly getting like 5s and 6s, you're going to miss a lot of them Cyberman fights. Whereas if you play this stage manually, you can obviously always choose to go down those side paths, and then even if you're getting like all 6s, you're going to hit that stop sign fight at least and get that fight guaranteed. So that is good. But when you're playing it on auto, you could just have a run where it just misses all of them, which is kind of annoying. So this one is good, and like I said at the beginning, the fact that this one costs 2 extra stamina means it does have that slightly higher chance of getting the links go up as well. But for me personally, I don't know, after the little bit of testing I've done, basically all of last night at work I was jumping between the stages that I'm showing you guys in this video, and just for me personally, I find it frustrating that it just misses out on so many of those opportunities for no reason. I feel like if it's going to go down those side paths, it should just go down them all the time. Which again is another reason why I feel like a future update to the auto mode could be really, really good. Whereas like I suggested, if there's one where you can set it for like, I want as many fights as possible, then on this stage it would always go down that side path. And then, of course, when you get the Nimbus on the side path, it takes you back onto the main track, straight into another fight, and then we're going to be able to blow through the Cybermen here. Now, the difference, when you're playing it on auto, it doesn't really matter too much, but like I feel like this one takes a lot longer as well, because the Cybermen are like multiple Cybermen in each of the fights. Some of them are only 3 or less, which then is fine, because they basically all just die to one normal attack anyway. But if you are hitting any of the bonus fights and you are going down all of those like side paths, some of those Cybermen fights are more than 3 enemies. So if you're not getting off additionals, then it means you're not finishing the fight off in one turn. So this stage, compared to the 8-9 that we already showed, this one does take a lot longer to do. So I feel like you can almost do 8-9 probably twice in the time that it takes for this to go through this stage. So then in theory, if you're getting the bad RNG and it's not going down all of the side paths, you are actually getting more fights out of doing 8-9 twice. So I think out of these two, 8-9 is the better one. But we do have one more to show off after this as well. So go ahead and grab the star here, and then let us jump into the final one that I wanted to show you guys. So it is stage 710. So area 7, which is Assault of the Saiyans, stage 10, Saiyan's Pride, and that is 14 stamina as well. So this one is directly comparable to 8-9 because they both cost 14 stamina. So let us go ahead and jump in, turn the auto off again quickly here. So the way this one works is kind of similar to the previous one, where there are obviously bonus fights. There's a couple of stop sign fights, but there's also these side paths. So after this fight, if it goes up the side path, fights this Cyberman, and then goes to the Nimbus, it comes back to the main path. Now, in theory, if it goes down every single side path, we are getting what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights in total. So let's go ahead and turn on the auto and see how it goes. Now, obviously, again, there are bonus ones that we are potentially going to miss. And this one, when I played it a few times last night, I did seem to get pretty consistently lucky with the AI going down the side paths, but not every single time. And that's where it becomes really tricky to determine like which of these stages is the best, because if the AI went down every side path every single time, then probably just by the fact that this one has the 7 stop sign fights, it would make this one the best, probably by default, even though it is 2 stamina less than the 16 stamina one that we showed off already. Just because the fact that it has more fights. And the fact that it has more fights, it means more fights that potentially have link levels attached to them. See, we did go down the first side path. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, further testing is required. I know I saw my boy Minato posting saying that he was going to potentially on stream basically re-go through the entire quest mode and play every single stage again, just to see if we could find any other ones that would be better. Because, like I say, before auto was the thing, I think pretty much everyone was in agreement that 23-8 was the best. Just because, even though sometimes, as I've said, you know, already in the video, you could get screwed over by getting bad RNG with your dice rolls and then missing a bunch of the Cybermen. Especially when you get, like, sometimes you get, like, whole clusters of, like, 4 or 5 of them in a row. But you're not getting any, like, 1s or 2s. And so you just end up missing half of them, which is very, very annoying. And as we showed at the beginning of the video, auto mode just does not like that stage at all. So, that one is definitely out of the picture when it comes to auto. But so far on this one, it has gone down the side route both times. So I do think that is pretty solid. I'll put up a graphic here on the screen. So this is something that was shared from I think it was from the Reddit that somebody posted. And I'll put it up on the screen for you guys to see. Somebody worked out the calculations. The APT boys did some good in the community for a change. So basically, it was, you can see it here, stage 710 has a 1.03% or a 0.91% chance to level a level 9 link to level 10 per 1 stamina used. Stage 8-9 has a 0.8958% chance for a level 9 link to go to level 10, and then stage 15-2 has an 8.466% chance of a level 9 link going to level 10 per 1 stamina used. So just by raw number crunching, it seems that 710 is the best one, which is the one that we're doing now. But as I've said already, there is the RNG of whether or not it goes down the side paths, because those numbers are taking into account the fact that there are 7 fights that you can hit by getting to all of the stop sign fights, and then obviously there are the bonus ones that you could get as well if the RNG just happens to take you to those slots. So those numbers are based on hitting all of the stop sign fights on each stage, which, as we've seen from this run, is not always going to be the case. See, this time we went past that last stop sign one, because I think we'd hit everyone up until that, and then we went past that one. So basically, I feel like out of the 3 stages that we've shown, like apart from 23-8 obviously, 8-9, was it 15-2, and then I've just closed the thing that I had up. These 3 that we've shown in the video, I feel like the difference between them is fairly negligible. So if you're somebody who wants to link level on auto and just not really have to worry about it, I feel like any of these stages can be good. Statistically, if you're getting the good RNG and getting all of the stop sign fights, this one is the best one. But I feel like 8-9 is more consistent and is slightly faster. So even if 8-9 is only slightly worse, if it's much faster, then I feel like overall that makes it better. So unfortunately, I don't feel like there is a definitive answer, but I feel like 8-9 or this new one, the one that we've just done, are going to be the best one. Area 7, stage 10. So 7-10 or 8-9. I still think 23-8 is the best one to do for your boosts and just play it manually. You can get unlucky and miss a bunch of the Cybermen, obviously, but that's how I've been doing it with my link leveling over the last couple of days, and I've still been having a lot of luck on the boosted 23-8 run of actually getting level 10 links. So obviously that's all RNG. I could just be skewed by getting very lucky when I've done those runs, but that's what I think. So 7-10 or 8-9, and then use your boosts on 23-8. So let me know what you guys think down below. Have you done any investigating this for yourself? Have you got a particular stage that you think is the best one to run? Let us know, and we'll continue the discussion in the comment section down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.